Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliy al-azim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Abil Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad. وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me the blessing of being with you in another month of Ramadan and spend some time together on different aspects of Islamic teachings. What I thought might be a very relevant topic for us is the topic of adab. Adab, as we will see inshallah, is a very important concept. It's hard to translate it into English by using one word. Adab in this context, because there are other senses in which the term adab is used. Sometimes adab is used in the sense of literature. But in this sense, it's a matter of politeness, a matter of observing etiquettes, having good manners, courtesy. So it's a combination of all these things, and inshallah it will become more clear. And as I will explain, you would see that how much we need to observe adab, this etiquette in our life. Today I thought I start with a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, in which Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions 5 important requirements of a balanced, a well-developed character, a kind of successful person needs 5 different things. Inshallah, in these days, we will mention many hadiths, and you would see we have, mashallah, rich collections of hadiths on adab. But this particular hadith, I thought it's good to begin with. You find it in many books. I am quoting from Al-Amali by Sheikh Saduq, rahmatullah alayh, page 291 and 292. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to some people, some companions who were with him, خمس من لم تكن فيه لم يكن فيه كثير مستمتع. There are 5 things, if someone lacks them, there is not that much good in him or her. He doesn't have that much merits. If these 5 or some of them are missing, there's not that much thing to celebrate, to say, you know, I have had achievements. قِيلَ وَمَا هُنَّ يَبْنَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Those who were around said, O son of the Prophet, what are those 5 things without which there is no merits, there is no achievement? قال الدين والعقل والحياء وحسن الخلق وحسن الأدب. Those 5 are as follows. Ad-din, faith. If we lack faith, if we don't know where we have come from, where we are heading, who is our creator, to whom we should be responsible, if we don't have answer for fundamental questions of our life, if we don't have orientation in our life, if there is nothing more than this worldly life that gives meaning and reason for living to us, we lack a lot. We cannot feel successful. Ad-din. But it is interesting that Imam Sadiq is telling us that just having a good religion and being faithful to that religion is not enough. Some people think just because I have good religion or the best religion, that's it. No. We have to see what changes this has made in you. Just to register in a certain religious affiliation, like becoming member of a, I don't know, a party or a club. Religion is not like that. Religion is not something that by registration or naming yourself an Islamic name or religious name and even doing certain practices you can say, I have become religious. Actually, some people, by choosing religion, not only they don't improve, even they sometimes become worse. Because this brings negative pride to them, arrogance to them. They become more careless about other people because they think they have connection with God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that sometimes He gives a blessing, even a blessing of a kind of guidance, but some people become worse. نُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. We send through the Quran healing, mercy, but وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. But the same Quran which is shifa, which is rahmah, which is nur, which is hidayah, guidance, لا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارة, would not add to the unjust people except loss. They become worse after being given the Quran and not acting upon the Quran, not getting the message of the Quran, not following the path that the Quran shows. With Quran, carrying the Quran, you can become worse. So religion by itself is great, but what is important is the way you approach religion, the way you bring religion to your life, the way you change yourself according to religion. That's the main issue. Otherwise, religion as a religion can be perfect. But what about your understanding of religion? What about your practice of your religion? So this is why Imam Sadiq, in a sense, is teaching us that you should also have other things along your religiosity, in addition to your religiosity, so that it can tell you that you are on the right track. Ad-din wal-aql. After faith, reason, rationality. How rational you are. in some other places I have mentioned that how rationality is very important in Islam, especially in the school of Ahlul Bayt. What is your understanding? If you want to understand someone's rationality, test him. Of course, it's better first we test ourselves and examine ourselves. If I want to see how rational I am, you can test yourself. There are many things, but I give few examples. First, how do you make your decisions? How do you select? If you want to choose something to buy, if you want to choose a place to live, if you want to choose a friend, if you want to marry, if you want to choose a career, if you want to buy a dress, if you want to choose a hairstyle, how you make your choice and selection? This is a great sign of rationality if your choice and selection are driven by intellect, by good reasons, by facts. Do you consider facts? Do you collect information? Do you consult people? Do you have a vision about what you want to achieve in future? Or just you are triggered by propaganda, by advertisement, but what is seen on TV, but what celebrities do, but by what has become fashion? You can see how rational you are. If there is something that everyone is doing, but I don't have good reason to do, why I should do? Second test, how do you accept ideas? When one person tells you something, you accept? When two people tell you, you accept? When you read something on internet or receive something on your, I don't know, social media, you accept? Or, you know, some people say, no, but if something is printed, I accept. If it's on a newspaper, on a book, because it's printed, I accept. There is such idea that people cannot say something wrong or false and then print it. But this is not right. You should never accept anything unless there is proof. Just because some people have said it or put it on internet or have circulated in social media doesn't make a good case for accepting something. If few people or many people tell you something, that is not a good reason to accept. You can understand rationality of people based on how sophisticated is the process of accepting ideas for them. If it takes them time, if they may resist against what other people want to put in their mind, there is a hope that this person is rational. But if they easily accept and believe, this is not rationality. I am very amazed by this sentence from Ibn Sina, Avicenna. He says, Man tasaddaqa, man ta'awwada ala an yusaddiqa bighayr dalil faqad kharaja min al-kiswat al-insaniyya. Man ta'awwada means whoever is used to. And yusaddiqa, to confirm. Bighayr dalil, without reason. Faqad kharaja min al-kiswat al-insani. He's no longer a human being. Whoever is used to accepting ideas without asking for reason. He's no longer a human being. As a mistake, okay, maybe you make once, twice mistakes. You accept something, then you later regret. But if it becomes a habit, ta'awwada, if you are used to it, accustomed to accepting without reason, he says, then such people are no longer human beings. Because human beings are human beings by the virtue of rationality. And rationality is tested by how you accept ideas. So how do you accept? How do you reject? Even rejection needs argument. Don't tell me I am very good in rejecting, so I am rational. No. Whether you accept or reject, both needs reason. If you hear something, don't quickly say, no, this is false. You need reason. And please remember this point. This is a very important point for our life. Sometimes issues come in society, in community, in politics, in family, among friends, that you feel you must make a stance, you must make a position, you must have a say. And then you rush. Brothers and sisters, when you are not sure, Allah would not question you why you didn't make a judgment, why you didn't take a stance. But as soon as you make a stance, you will be questioned. Why? If there's an issue between two people, and I don't know, I don't need to make any judgment. And if it is something which is related to me, I have a responsibility. I don't need to rush. I have to take my time to collect information, impartial, objective information, to consult, to think, to process. If I am 100% sure, then I should take a stance. Otherwise, Allah would never tell you why you didn't take a stance when you were not sure. Even if you are 90% sure, even if you are 95% sure, this is not enough. You are not sure. But as soon as you pass on a judgment, you are very responsible now. Even, I want to tell you something. Even if you don't say this to anyone, in your heart, you pass judgment on someone, and you are not sure, you have to answer. Why you developed a bad opinion about a person when you were not sure? And when I say you are not sure, I mean to be sure based on evidence, not that, just because you are a person who is very easy in accepting things, you become sure. Unfortunately, sometimes people, without any evidence, without any case that they can present to rational people so that they would agree, they say, I am sure. And when you ask them, what is your reason? You see, there is no reason. It's just they guess. Another sign of rationality is how much are you caring about time, about something being new or old. There are people, and we have, both problems. There are people, and maybe me and you are also part of this camp, never think that we are immune. When something is new, they reject it. As soon as they hear something new, a new idea, a new opinion, a new way of looking at things, they reject. They have sensitivity towards new things because they are comfortable with the things that they already have. The Quran says sometime when the prophets spoke to people who didn't want to accept, one argument was, this is not what we have heard from our parents, from our fathers and forefathers. We cannot accept this because this is not we are familiar with. So for them to be familiar with is a sign of truth, and if something is new, is to be rejected. This is not rational. On the other hand, there are people who are always against something which is established, something which has history. They always want to hear something new. This is also a problem. Neither being new nor being old by themselves say anything. Something can be good and new. Something can be good and old. You have to look into the arguments, into the evidence. There are many, many things which are old, even which are eternal, and still we have to accept them. Is it new for us that we have to be honest? Is virtue of honesty a new thing? Is virtue of kindness and courtesy and mercy a new thing? No. So shall we say because these are not new, I don't want to follow them? On the other hand, if there is a new way of looking at things, for example, a new way of understanding a certain verse of the Quran, a new interpretation, a new fatwa, a new technique, a new technology, a new science, if they have evidence, if they are based on a scholarship, why I should be hesitant to accept? What is the impact of famous people on you, or elders of your community, or your parents on you? These are different things, different aspects of rationality. I don't want to talk all tonight about rationality, but because it's a very important topic, so I little bit expanded. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, the first thing that you have to make sure you have, ad-din. The second, al-aql, faith, rationality. The third, al-haya. Haya is very important. What is haya? Haya is a kind of positive shame. You have a sense of shame, not in a negative sense, in a positive sense. It means that you feel ashamed of doing certain things because you have such respect for yourself that you don't do certain things, whether it be in front of other people, which is most of the time, or even when you are alone. A person who has haya, even when he or she is alone, observes haya. For example, about the way you dress. Even if you are alone at home, you shouldn't go around nakedly. No one is there. No one is going to watch. But you should have such respect for yourself such sense of haya that you don't go around nakedly. Who deserves more respect towards himself or herself than a person who is virtuous, who is religious? We should have maximum respect even for ourselves, for our family members. In front of your family, you shouldn't go around with improper dress or use words which are not proper, which are not polite. Say, it's in family, it's home. Even if you are alone. Salaam alaikum. For example, you are driving, no one is in the car, no one is listening to you. And then a person, either a passenger or another driver, comes on your way. Can you use rude words against that person even if no one else is hearing? Window is closed, it's shut. No one is hearing you. Can you use bad words? No. Why? Because you have haya. Even when you are alone, you have haya, let alone when other people are around. Haya is very important. وَحُسْنُ الْخُلْقِ, to have good temper, to have kind, nice treatment of other people. Husnul khulq is very important. If you are the best person in everything else, but you are not just showing kind treatment to others, you are harsh, you are aggressive, you easily get angry. This makes everything else spoiled. Husnul khuluq is very important quality. Inshallah, we'll talk more about this. Wa husnul adab. Now you see, adab is even something different from all these four. What is adab? Husnul adab. To have good manners. On top of religion, on top of aql, haya, husnul khulq, to have good manners. So inshallah, in coming nights, with the assistance and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, we are going to talk about adab. Inshallah, we will clarify the notion of adab and different dimensions of adab. And my hope is that we, followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, should be able to demonstrate maximum adab, maximum politeness. No one should be able to precede us in being respectful to others and to ourselves. To have good manners, good etiquettes, and all, of course, in the context of rationality, in the context of good temper, in the context of haya, in the context of deen, as we said. Inshallah, we continue this discussion, inshallah, tomorrow. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.